Hello children, I hope you are fine, you're doing well. So we are back here in our lessons of science. The teacher Nabo Richard. We are still looking at drugs, so I want you to get settled, of course, as usual. Put your material ready and we start off. So today we're still looking at the drugs in society, and today we are going to look at the effects of drug abuse. Remember last time we saw the common drugs which are commonly abused, and we saw people abuse them. So today we are going to see the effects of abusing those drugs. So what happens if somebody abuses those drugs? How does those drugs affect an individual? How will it affect the family? How will it affect the community? So in our lesson here, by the end of this lesson, everybody would have definitely learned those effects of drug abuse to individuals, families, and communities. Secondly, we shall look at the ways of avoiding drug abuse. How can you avoid the problem of drug abuse? Remember, drug abuse is the common problem in our society, so we need to avoid it. So I want you to get settled and quick start. So in our first session here, children, we are looking at the effects of drug abuse to individual. And I want you to write from only 2 effects of those drugs we saw last time. Remember those drugs, cocaine, mirror, opium, hashish. Any 2 effects of those drugs to individuals. You could be having only some of them. You could be having more than 2. So what do we have here? Now look here. We are saying that drug dependence affects individuals in so many ways. So many ways. 1, the user becomes depressed without them. If you start the habit of abusing drugs, that means it's going to be very hard for you to stop the habit. Once you stop the habit, you become depressed. That means your body will be demanding for that particular drug every now and then. So once you start them, the effects, number 1 is going to be, it causes depression. 2, the individual loses a sense of time and space. So once you start abusing drug, the sense of time and space is going to be lost completely. You are going to be doing things wrong times and so on. 3, the damage is going to go to your brain. If you start abusing those drugs, the likes of cocaine, the likes of alcohol, the likes of hashish, your brain is going to be affected. And what does that imply? You don't reason properly. Then 4, it may cause loss of appetite. Normally drug abusers don't like to eat food. So they prefer their drugs to food. And what's the effect of that? Of course, it can also result into malnutrition. 5, it can lead to self-neglect. So these drug abusers normally don't mind about themselves. They don't care whatsoever comes to them. So they don't mind bathing, it's not part of them. They don't care about them, so they neglect themselves. Then also, it may also cause lack of sleep, what we call insomnia. People normally abuse drugs. We saw that drug called mirror. It may cause lack of sleep. You can stay for long hours without sleeping, and that one also affects your body indirectly if you didn't know. So these are some of the few effects of drug abuse to an individual. Of course, there are many others. There are many others which can also happen to you if you start abusing drugs. Then, there's also something called anxiety and panic. So that's another effect to an individual. Then, you can have a look here. This one, they bring very good food and someone says, no, food is no, I don't like food, I prefer my drug. Then here, the brain is going to be affected if you start abusing the particular drug. Then, in our next session, children, we want also to look at how does this drug abuse affect the family. If people want some members in the family start abusing drugs, how are the members going to be affected? Could be your brother is abusing drugs, could be any other person out there. How does that one affect the family? So I want you to write from only 2 effects on your paper there. Only 2. I'm giving just less than 20 seconds. Good. You could have written something good. Let's read and check with mine here. 1, we are saying can lead to family neglect. If the head of the family is abusing drugs, obviously he's going to neglect the family because he's resorting to the drugs. He will not mind about you, the children in the family. So if I saw the father, before you are going to be neglected. The father is resorting to the drugs and so on. Then it can also lead to aggression and violence in the family. You know what that means? People are fighting, abusing each other. Mommy beats daddy, dad beats mommy, and vice versa. So all such kind of things are going to be happening in the family. So when you start abusing drugs, we say it can affect your brain. So after the brain has been affected, then you can become aggressive, you become violent, you start fighting and beating all kinds of people in the family. Then also here it can lead to divorce and family breakups. So if one of the members, maybe the father is abusing a particular drug, the family can split. Daddy, mommy can say, I would not start to stay with my daddy who is abusing a particular drug. If that's what the mommy who is abusing that particular drug, obviously daddy has to walk away because of it. So that's what we call divorce, illegal separation of the marriage and so on. So these are some of the few effects to the family. So it can lead to family neglect, aggression and violence, divorce in the family. Then, in our next session here, children, how does drug abuse affect the community members? People out there in the community. Remember, a community is a group of people living and working together. So how does drug abuse affect the communities? Can you think of only one or two? We'll let with mine here. One, high crime rate. You could have seen some of these boys out there and girls who abuse drugs. The crime rate tends to be high. They start stealing, they rape, they defile, they do all kinds of things. So crime can be high. So rape, theft, defilement, among some of the crimes which are going to be committed by the abusers here. Then we have got poor job performance. If somebody abuses a drug and he goes out to work, of course he cannot perform effectively as expected. And that results into poor job performance. He cannot be very effective in his delivery of work. Then also we have got poverty. The community members are going to be poor because the abusers are spending money buying those drugs and all that kind of thing. And that can result into underdevelopment of the country. Then we have got underdevelopment and unproductivity of the country, obviously. Because if you have got the youth abusing the drugs, so eventually the country is going to be underdeveloped and we cannot be productive as well. So all that. Then also you have got poor health of the individuals and so on. Then what do you think can be done to prevent this problem of drug abuse? What can we do, children? Can you write for me only 2 ways of avoiding drug abuse? Only 2. I haven't looked at the effects to individuals, families, and communities. Fine. We'll let with mine here. 1, we should need to find out about effects of drug dependency. That's very important. We need to know about that. 2, we should keep away from peers who are drug dependent. If your friend is abusing a drug, please keep away from that person who's abusing a drug. Then 3, proper use of your leisure time. What do you do in your leisure time? Do you go to a person who's abusing a particular drug? No. Make use of your leisure time properly. Involve yourself in gainful activities. Maybe go for sporting activity, go for music, go to church, read a book and so on. Then also we are saying the community members addicted and who are dependent on the drug should be rehabilitated and counseled. So counseling and rehabilitation are very vital. In the case that there are some members who have abused these drugs, they need to be taken to rehabilitation centers where they are going to be rehabilitated and they are counseled. And by so doing, the problem can definitely go. So let me hope my children avoid the ways we can avoid this drug. But above all that, avoid the bad peer groups, because these are the main ones who can influence you in starting abusing these particular drugs. So let me hope you have been good and taking care of yourself. So we're saying keep away from peers who are drug dependents. Can have a look at that. If somebody convinces you, try to take this cigarette, please say no. And that no must mean a no. In your free time, involve yourself in gainful activity. Read a book. Go for sports. You will not think of those drugs which will affect you in the long run. So let me hope you have been very good children. Thanks for being good. Bye-bye.